Okay, let's get out the scarecrows. This one is so cute. I love it. And I love it because it's got the ultra trendy blue with it. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but all kind of different colors are trending for fall, but including a really beautiful kind of navy blue. And we still saw that trending for Christmas as well. So keep your eye out for things in this color, especially if you make stuff to sell. Isn't this cute? It's got wheat and pumpkins and the cutest little scarecrow. All fall? Good. I'm glad you guys think they're all fall. So this is a new ribbon for us. It's 61013-40-18. 61013-40-18. It's over at Keleas.com. All fall too, Rochelle says. I love it. You don't like the scary ones? Yeah, this one's just cutesy. Yeah. We don't want no scary scarecrows. No. Just cutesy ones. Smiling scarecrows. Oops, I didn't cut that very good. Let's try it again. There's my angle. Okay. I still am pretty consistent with that 8-inch tail on here. All fall too. Use them all fall, Karen says. I think so, Deborah. I think so too. 8 inches going to the center. Now this is a nice heavy canvas, so this is a little bit heavier ribbon. I love the way it prints on that. All right, let's bring it in. Karen, you'd use them all September through Thanksgiving. And then just scary ones, you just do Halloween. Like if they had a creepy face, got it. I'm gonna go a little smaller at 6. And I do a twist, and I twist this way, okay? So I get the back of the ribbon up. That's the whole point of the twist. Now I'm going on this side to 6 as well. Put it back in. And this time I'm going to make 2 loops, okay? So I'm going to twist. Hey, Megan! Good to see you! Mary, you do scarecrows, not Halloween scary. Got it, Mary. That works. Okay. I'm going to put 6 over here, too. And I'm going to twist. I'm going to bring that up and fluff this right out. So we've got 2 loops at 6 so far. I'm scrunching down now because I scrunch when I don't need a twist, because I don't need a twist if I don't need to do another loop. So you don't have to twist again like you did last summer if you don't need another loop. Okay? 8 inches there, and we're going to cut that at an angle. Now this time I'm going to go back to that matchy-matchy we did earlier, and we're going to add another tail. So all that means is I'm going to cut a 16-inch piece here, and I'm just cutting at opposite angles, okay, because that's 8-inch a tail. So if you add them together, that tail is 16. A lot of tail going on in this particular project. It's a pretty lucky day for this scarecrow. I'm going to pop that in, have them going up and down. I'm cracking myself up tonight, y'all. Oh, Jacqueline, stay safe, man. It was supposed to rain here, but it just scooted right past us, and my plants were like, no, we wanted the real rain. All right, now I picked out a blue plaid. It just works perfectly with it because we've got the blue overalls of this scarecrow, the blue jeans of this scarecrow. We've got the pretty orange and the pumpkins, and we got this blue edge on there too. So when you're matching ribbons, you're just picking colors from the printed ribbon that will go with it. And plaids are like a no-brainer, okay? Let's bring this one in. And I didn't give you all the number for this one. This one is 61014-09-27. And this one was already open, Nicole. I had already opened it. Mary, the scarecrow number? It is 61013-40-18 for this one. Oh, you're not an animal print fan? I get it. Some people aren't. I understand. Different strokes for different folks. So I'm lining up that tail and I'm twisting. And I'm coming in. This time we're gonna switch it up a little just to get it going good, okay? We're going to do 2 loops of this too. Okay? There's that dang mosquito back again. He is no longer. Tried to bite my baby earlier. Skeeter tried to get Ari on camera. And the next thing he would try to do is get Kaya. Mosquitoes love Kaya. She must have the sweetest blood because they want to eat hers. Okay, 6 inches on each one of these, and I twist back to the center. Let's keep twisting. So far, you can tell. Does anybody know our recipe?
No.
No, Kaya. What? What's our recipe so far? Somebody give it to me in the comments.
Cakes, cookies.
Not that kind of recipe, Kaya. Megan, he's put out. He is gone. I'm an animal lover, but you have to draw the line at the mosquitoes, okay? I do save toads and earthworms in the garden and all that kind of stuff, but not mosquitoes. I do try not to kill spiders, but snakes, they're questionable. Okay, we did a 2-1 last time. This one's a little different. Take a peek here and see. A little bit different. Beverly nailed it. Carol nailed it. This one's a 2-2 so far. Okay? And I did do the X in the back with the 2 tails. Now I'm ready to add in my top ribbon. One of the things you can always do is instead of introducing a 3rd ribbon, you will just bring in the ribbon that you used in the back of the bow back to the front. Susan, a 4-4, we only call the recipe from a half of the bow to help avoid confusion. So we just say 2, 2, okay? When I was selling hundreds of wreaths every month out of my Etsy shop, I had help doing that, creating them. So we had to be able to communicate about a bow recipe, and that's where we created that way to communicate. We just call it a 2-2, okay? Irvina's got it? Good. So let's bring the Scarecrow back to the front. And we're going to put, one of the new things we've been doing is called a bow tie. So we're going to put a bow tie in the center. I think bow ties are so stinking cute and fun. So just cut your ribbon straight to start it off. And you're going to literally just make a couple of loops. Now I've been at 6 and I've been at 5.5. So I'd like this at 5. So I'm going to do it just in my hand here to get the right length. So if this is at 5, it needs to be a little bit bigger. Okay. And I just measure it out. I'm just going to get over the top here. 5 and 5. So let me go ahead and trim this right here. You need it to overlap a little bit in the back. Okay, Susan, perfect. Tina, you just joined. You need your glasses. That's okay. So I'm going to have these overlap just a hair so they don't pull out real easy, okay? Now I'm going to get right to the center. Make sure I've got that about even. All right, and then I just pleat this in my hands. And I'm making my own little cute bow tie. This is why we call it a bow tie. It just has no tails. Yeah, this particular Scarecrow not getting lucky. That backdoor Scarecrow, he got all the action. Now let's bring that in, and I'm ready to put a cable tie right through the middle. Isn't that super cute? Super duper cute. Run the cable tie right beside. And you might be asking yourself, Clee, why are you using cable ties? I've never seen anybody use cable ties. What's that about? They can get so much tighter than wire. And it took me a while to convert to them several years ago. And now I love them. They're my favorite. Fluff it. Were you guys watching my TikTok with the Mickey ears? Girls, I got some deals on Mickey ears. Y'all, I'm a Disney junkie. And somebody bought some Mickey ears and we're selling them really cheap on eBay. And girlfriend, I've got it all. We're going to have Mickey ears for days. I could use some with cute little scarecrows in there. All right, now I don't have it very tight yet. I just got it taut and I'm holding it. Look how cute it is already. Run that wire through the back. Hey, Brian. Janet, do I ever use raffia? Oh, sure. It would look really cute in there. There was a time in my crafting career, girl, we were using raffia on everything. I mean, everything. So we could pop it in the bow. It'd be really super cute. You can use twigs. You can choose that cute little wispy twig garland we use. Anything you add to your bow, it breaks the plane of all these different layers of the bow, and it's just adorable. I mean, you really can't screw it up. Just a little bit of wispiness is awesome. You gonna steal me and go to Disney? Oh, girls. Girls, I love Disney. We just got back from Disneyland. And, when did we go? July. We hadn't been to Disneyland in a while. It was fun. We usually go to Disney World. Look how cute. This is so cute. Now let's do the center. And it's a no-brainer to put in the center this plaid, okay? That's what we're putting in there. Hi, Cindy. How's it going? How is it going? Let me cut this at an angle. That is crazy that people say that they love my voice. They like to listen to me. The reason I never stop talking, guys, on video is I'm an auditory learner, which I didn't realize till kind of later in life. And so for me, everything has to be auditory for me to learn it. If I can see it visual and auditory, then it's like a really bonus. So I talk more than the average person because my brain actually likes to hear what I am doing. And y'all know Parker from Deco Exchange. I was writing some emails one time, and we were at a meeting, and he was right there, and he could hear me reading them back to myself. And he was like, "Clee, do you have to do that with everything?" And I'm like, yeah. So it's kind of funny. I didn't know that everybody didn't have to do that. But it makes a lot of sense later in life. But thank you for the lovely compliment about my voice. Look at this. Look at this. Isn't it adorable? Stinking adorable. There's our cute Scarecrow bow. And this is a 2-2-1 recipe. So all we did was add one more layer to that bow. Are you ready to play with these cute fall ribbons? We're going to make the perfect bow. So I want to show you how to do it. And today we're going to do it by hand. So we're going to make a bow by hand, just for those of you who do not have a bow maker. And I'm going to show you how easy it is. It just requires you to hold on to that center. And it's a little more difficult, but you can do it, okay? I promise. So the first thing you want to do is decide which ribbon's going to go in the back. And for us, in this pattern, I'm going to put the wider ribbon in the back, kind of to create a nice strong base to hold up the more narrow ribbon. Plus, with our color palette here, we want to pull out all those natural, gorgeous colors we're using in our swag. We've got this gorgeous pampas grass that is got a beautiful kind of taupe color like we have back in the background here. And then we have the gorgeous yellows and oranges that are in the pumpkins and the flowers that are on the swag. So we've got both those color palettes here that we're going to pull out, plus the green, which I love that in there. So once you decide what type of bow you want, for us, we're going to do what we call a funky bow. And that just means tails go up and tails go down, and they kind of make a whimsical look. So we just need about 8 inches of tail on that. And we're not going to dovetail or anything else yet. We're just going to go ahead and start by establishing that's our first tail. And once I do that, I just kind of scrunch this in my hands right here, and I'm going to start with it in my right hand. And then I twist, okay? And we're going to start our first loop. Loops are good at about 8 inches or 7 to 8. And smaller, if you want to go a little bit smaller. This is kind of a nice, good size swag. So I think 7 will do us. I'm going to go a little bit shorter. So about a 7-inch loop here. And you pleat it, and then you twist it again. Okay? And so I twist when I want to come around and make another loop. Now this time I'm just doing one on each side. We're going to kind of eyeball it and make them similar. And then one tail will go up and one will go down. This will be the first part of our bow, okay? Just like that, you've started. And this is a cute bow for something simple. You don't always have to make so many loops. You could start with something simple like this. I'm gonna grab, I've got to switch back to my left hand because I've got to be able to cut this with my right, my loop on my bow, okay? So that part's done. Now I'm gonna come in with the next layer. So pull some more ribbon out. And this time I want to lay the tail on the other side. So about the same size, pleat it up. We're going to lay it right on top. Okay, for me it's easier to hold with my right hand while I'm building and switch when I need to cut. All right, so I'm going to twist it, and then I'm going to make the loop the same size that we just had. So you can kind of comparison it to the one you have there. See, they're about similar on this side. And then I twist again. And we're going to make a loop on this side. About the same. So look at the loop on this side to help you see. Okay, about the same. We're good. Let's just lay it on top. Beautiful, beautiful. I like to build my bows from back to front. And then I'm going to come in and make my last tail so I don't have to twist this time. So here we are. I've got a nice tight center. I'm holding it all in my right hand right now. And I want you to identify here, we've got 2 tails on this side, okay, and 2 on that side. So switch hands to make your cut. I'm going to do that right now. And these aren't identical cuts. We'll make them all pretty and match when we get to the end. Okay, right now I'm just trying to hold my center and keep everybody fluffed out nicely. Okay, now let's lay our next layer up. Now we're going to put the cute little check on top. And I want this to run just kind of right on top of where we had our other tail before. So we'll just lay it right on there. It can be a little bit shorter. And this time we're just going to have 1 tail of the check. And we're going to twist at the center because I'm ready to make my loops. So let that ribbon roll out. And now I'm going to make this loop just a little short, about 1 inch shorter than the other. So these are on this side. I can kind of eyeball it and say, okay, yeah, that's about 1 inch shorter. I'm going to twist and start my next loop here on the other side. And now I can just scrunch it up and bring it down. So I want those tails to work opposite and my loops to be opposite, going through the other 2 loops. Okay, we did it. This is a 2-1 recipe, really easy to make. And then I'm going to trim this tail a little bit shorter like we talked about. And I'm going to come back to my right hand. All right, good to go. My bow is ready to be tied in the center. You can use wire or pipe cleaner. I adjusted and switched to cable ties probably about 15 years ago now. It's been a long time, and I love them because they get tighter than you can get different things. They do take a little bit of time to adjust to if you're used to wire, because they take a little more time to put them through the middle, but they work great to hold super tight. But if you wanted a strong wire to go in the middle, I like 18 gauge wire for most things like that. Okay, our bow is ready. The cable tie is somewhat tight, not all the way tight. So we come behind now and we slip under there our other cable tie. This is how we'll be attaching it to our swag when we're ready to put it on our project. Okay, so I just run that underneath and you just get it even more tight. And she's ready. She's ready for us to do the finishing details. So cut off that part that was sticking up. We won't need that. She's looking good. And what I like to do is do a finishing detail in the middle, and then we will work on all of her tails. So for me, I'm going to take a little piece of this orange and green plaid, and we're going to run it down the middle to make a nice finished look. So all I'm doing is folding this on itself, or you could split it in half. Now, it's kind of cute if you want to run that seam down the middle. I think that's super cute. It adds a little detail to the center of your bow. You see there? Really cute. I'm going to put that in. I tie a couple of knots in the back. 1 and 2, and that finishes out the center of my bow. Trim those pieces off. And then she's ready to rock and roll. My last couple of steps is I will take and dovetail the tails, and we'll kind of match them up. So you can see this one's a little longer than this one, and we want to try to get them pretty similar. So I just cut it about the same, and then you fold it, and you cut up from the fold to the open corner, and you get what we call a dovetail. So we just rock and roll that. You rock and roll and cut those down. Just like that. Super duper cute. Now with the one that's a little more narrow, I wanted to lay on top of that other one just a little shorter. So I'm going to take a little bit more off. Same thing. But you can see how cute that is laying on top. A lot of what I teach in design school and floral design is all about lines and layering and how important all that is in the process when we're designing these bows and these arrangements. Like all these little details add up. And even though they can kind of feel overwhelming, the process when you first start, later you'll appreciate each detail you put into your project. Because when I'm teaching sellers in design school, I'm teaching them how to, work their way up to create an audience and a clientele who's paying for all those little details. And they appreciate and they start to expect it. And so you're able to command a higher dollar for your pieces. So take time to do the little trim parts, make it look finished and detailed, like finish out the center. I think bow making is really an elegant way to add just the next level touch to all your projects. So Blue Merinos, try this one. make a bow like this by hand just to practice. Even if you're normally using a bow maker, give it a try. To stay in practice of using your hand making techniques as well. It's just, anybody can do it, and you don't need any special supplies. You just need the ribbon. All right, let's play with some beautiful fall supplies to make the cutest little Scarecrow centerpiece. So we've got our adorable Scarecrow, and she is going to be like our focal point in the design. We're going to kind of put her in last, but what I want you to do is kind of find the spot she's going to go in. We're going to play with her. We're going to jazz her up a little. I want to pull her little hat back and make her super duper cute. But she's pretty tall, but we need to kind of get her in, you know, decide where she's going to go. And I usually like my larger pieces to be off to the side. So if she's going to go right here, you may not be able to see her whole body right this second. But I think if she's going to go right here off to the side, what we will do is I will leave that spot open for us to put her in towards the end, and we'll start building out the base first, okay? So I'm gonna put her over to the side. She can sit over here and patiently wait for us to get her beautiful abode rocking and rolling. So we're starting with the cutest little metal container. It's kind of in the same color palette as her vest. And we're gonna be using this spray right here for the bulk of the greenery. Leaves, cute little berries, all the great accents. So that's going to go in here to fill up. I've got some fun twigs. Those are a lot of fun to kind of give that rustic look. These are artificial. I love them because they don't shed or anything like that. And then over here for the height in our design, we'll use this. This is a peony bush that has these cute little blooms on it that are really, really easy to work with. All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. I've got 2 pieces of floral foam already mounted in. Those are glued in, ready to go. I like these handles on either side. When I order things to resell, I get things that are going to work great for shipping for those of you who sell. So these have these nice handles that are easy to attach if you're going to ship your items. If not, they still work great for all the different seasons. It's just a beautiful color palette. All right, so we're leaving that section open, and what you could even do is just kind of give yourself a little X here. Don't put anything right in here because that's where Mrs. Scarecrow is going to go. So I'm just going to put me a little mark with some scissors on that part. And let's start getting our greenery ready to go in. Now, if you're not already liking and subscribing and following, please do that so you won't miss any of our content. I love when we're putting out new videos to help show you how to do beautiful things for your home every season. And y'all know everything that you see me using here is available at Keleas.com, and when we do a project, we have the supply list for you at Keleas.com, and then you can head over there, and anytime you click on a supply list, there will be a link to that video. If a video is password protected, that means it's a private video for our design school, and you are always welcome to join design school when it's open for new students, or get on our wait list. All you got to do is head over to KeleasDesignSchool.com, or you can go to WreathTeacher.com to help you grab a spot in our class. Now, I just tore those pieces off, and then I just cut them off really nice and neat. And let's start what we call creating our perimeter. Whether making a wreath or a centerpiece, we have changes in direction, and we have to create the perimeter to kind of give us a guideline for what we're doing. So we know we're going to go tall over here. We're going to have a lot of fun with all the width on this design right now, and we're going to do what we call set the perimeter. So this piece is going to go in, and I'm going to let it kind of break the plane of the container and just come over the edge. All right, that one's going off on the right, and this is going to come over the left. Now I'm going to have feet there, so I want to go right beside where her feet are going to go. Now when you work with high quality materials like we sell on Keleas.com, you're able to manipulate those wires all kind of really nice. You don't have to use extra pick machines and take a lot of extra steps because it's all done for you in the quality product. All right, and this piece, let's have it kind of move to the front. I think we'll have it go this way, back out to the right. Let me pull our twigs over. We're gonna work with those in a second. But I wanna show you this one going to the front of the design. Now this is my electric skillet with hot glue right beside me. And it has got everything we need to put these pieces in. Look at this. How pretty. So these are kind of spilling over. All right. Now, I'm not going to worry about too much on the back right now. We're going to make this a one-sided design just to keep our costs down a little bit. We'll fill in back here, but we want this to be pretty. It could go on a hall table. somewhere it's against the wall. Maybe you have a mirror behind it, and then it'll just look pretty in front of that or something like that for location. Now, I want to put some twigs in, kind of going in between each one of these sections. So I'm going to grab my little twig piece, pull it out, and we will start to make our own little clusters of twigs. Super easy to do. Just take and cluster it like this. Bring it on itself, so you make kind of a little loop with the tail. So when this goes in, it's a little cluster like this. Now, how you hold that together is you need a cable tie. So I'm going to grab one right here and just make myself a little cluster of twigs. So anytime you work with a drapey type product, there's times you don't want it to drape quite as much. You can make your own little cluster. So I just cluster that up just like that, and we're going to put that main stem. We need that main stem because it's strong. And that's going to go right in front of the little feet over here, and we want it just to pop over the edge. Oh, so cute. Let's make another little cluster for the other side. I got to grab some more cable ties. Here they are. All right, now let's put one on that side. So I'm going to cut another long one. And basically, I'm trying to get that strong stem. And then we can just let it kind of drape over. Let me cut it a little bit. Let me take a little bit out. Tell you what, the stem is still strong here, so I can use this kind of standing up in the arrangement, and I'll take a couple of these more drapey ones and attach it to here, okay? So basically just make your own little clusters. Loop it around. All right, we got our cute little cluster, and we can pop that in the design right there. It's fun to be whimsical with these pieces. I love that little touch. All right, let's get this tight. All right, and then we're gonna have this kind of come down, just like that. Cut the end of your cable tie off. Today I'm using the long ones because I have those in brown, and those will be so pretty coming in here. Just like that. Isn't that cute? Look at her. Look how cute. I'd like to go ahead and get our Scarecrow in. But before we do that, let's get her looking super cute. Let's jazz her up a little. So I'm just gonna lay her down. We're gonna give her a little light surgery. I think it's cute when her little hat kind of pops up a little bit, where we can kind of get it folded back. And because this hat doesn't have any wire built in, we're gonna take and just glue that down right here at the top. So I'll use my electric skillet with the hot glue, and we'll just bring that right into the top. Let's put a little of that coming out of the, I'm gonna put a little glue just gently up here. Now, I don't want to push too hard because it'll push that up burlap, and then we'll push that right on top. You can add more florals and things. Let's put one on the other side. Coming behind her. I'm just cutting off some little pieces from in the design. So I like that a little bit better. I can see her face better. And then I'm just gonna hold this here and let that get set up. And then once she's ready, we're gonna go ahead, and I like to kind of manipulate her arms a little bit, straighten out her dress, and then we're going to put her into our container. So we've got the front done, we got her little hat ready with the twigs, and now I'm ready to go ahead and put her right up here in that same section we talked about for our container. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put some glue on her feet just to get her, we can just glue her straight in, and then we're going to use a wire to secure her also. So let's dip her into our glue pot. Be careful because that's a lot of glue that's going to go under those little feet. Now I want you just to slide it off. Okay, in design school we use the electric skillet a lot to heat up our glue. It's just a really great way to manage our easy placement. Now, you have to be careful if you're not using something besides the Scarecrow. She's super lightweight, but if you put something heavy over here or backward, it could flip over your container. So always think about, okay, what am I using? How much weight do I have going? She's fine, that's gonna work good. Just because I like to double secure this, I'm gonna take, this is an 18 gauge wire, and we're just gonna take, and I'm gonna go around one of her cute little feet up here. And I'm just gonna do a little crisscross, so I've got enough wire to go into my base. So all I'm doing is crisscrossing it around. And then this can push into the base to help secure it right there. And I'm gonna do it on our other leg. Now you're not gonna see any of this, it's gonna be over here in the back. But now I have extra plans to hold her on, besides glue, just in case she were to get picked up by her head and move her arrangement. So this is going to push down into the foam. So I'm just kind of getting a little bend on it, and I want to put a little glue on the ends before I push it in. Okay, so that's kind of our backup plan. I'm always teaching you to have a backup plan for placement, security. I'm not big on just shoving things in, putting glue in. We have a lot of strategy when it comes to placement, why we're putting things where we're putting them, the lines we're creating with our design, all of that stuff, because you guys can continue to improve your creations, whether you're making it for yourself or you want to sell them or you want to learn all the things and do videos and have, you know, your own social media where you're creating. I'm going to help you learn how to do all that properly. So she's in nice and strong. She's got her backup plan and she's looking super duper cute. We're going to put a bow in, okay, because it's going to fill up a lot of real estate. And I think I want the bow to be like right about kind of here, tucked in to her feet. I need to leave some room beside her because that's where we're putting this bush. So we've got a whole plan here. What I want you to do with this is take, if you need the link to how to make this bow, just let us know in the comments. But I want you to take one of your extra spare pieces of wire that you cut off another stem. That's what I'm using here. It came off this long one, has a nice long piece of wire. And we're just gonna take and tie this cable tie on there so that we get a nice long stem where I can place it in our arrangement. Now, get it tight, put a little glue on that end because we're gonna make sure it's not gonna pull out. And we don't want it coming out, I gotta stay in there, otherwise it'll be yanking off your whole design. Okay, just wiggle that around a little bit. Okay, she's in, our cute little bow is ready, and we're gonna put her in right there. So I'm gonna just rotate her kind of to the top of this wire and bend her just a little bit. I gotta give her a little bend. There she is, good. And I'll put her in right there. And I'll make her a little bit shorter. All right, now the next move is to put a little glue on the end of the wire. I'm bringing the glue to it just because it can end up getting all these tails in your arrangement. We don't want that. So that's kind of gonna go to the front here and tuck in right by her feet. I'm leaving this space open because that's where we're gonna be coming in here in the back, and we're gonna be putting that big floral bush, okay? So Bo's in, she's looking so sweet here. She's so cute. She's got a pumpkin in her hands. Now we're ready to use this big floral bush. Okay, so I'm gonna put her to the side for a second while we prep this one up. Basically, I want you to hold it up. If it were to be this length and is that long enough, that's a little bit short. I'd like it to be a little bit higher than her and a little bit of combo of both. So what we're gonna wanna do is try to tear this so we can get a little longer wire. So usually when you tear down a bush, you can get a longer wire, and that's what we're gonna try to do here. So I'm gonna tear them all, and then you do have to trim the little messy part off at the bottom because you wanna be able to have a clean way to put it in your arrangement. So just break that down, take off those last couple of inches so they're still very long, and we've kind of done that with the entire bush. Now, let me bring her back to the middle here. And let's start to reconstruct this bush right beside her. All right, so the first piece that's gonna go in is gonna be the tallest. I'm putting that right by her head right here. She's so cute, look at her. All right, number one piece going in a little bit taller than her head, and that is perfect. There's another tall piece here too, and we're gonna sort of put those back to back so we have them right next to each other. So you're kind of paying attention to the length of the stems when we got them off that bush, and we're going to take and now work a little shorter. So when I bring this one in, let's take a look. Oh, perfect. You see how it's a little shorter? Coming a little lower. That's exactly what we want. And I'm tucking this right in front of the bow, right beside her. See how cute that's coming together? All right, I'm going to bring it in. If it's a little tall, like I'm ready to go lower, I'm going to cut a little off, and we'll just let this start to go a little bit lower. We've got a couple high, but that's enough. Then we're ready to rock and roll lower. I think I'm gonna put one more lower, and then I'm already ready. I wanna take a little of this bush, and let's pretend like this grew right up beside her, but a little bit grew over here too, because that's cute. A little bit grew on this side, so we're gonna cut these shorter, and these are gonna come over here down to where her feet are. But she's in a sweet little scarecrow fall garden. She got some cute flowers growing in here with her. And that's going to just pop out this side just a touch. Just a touch. You can give those a little bend to kind of break the plane. Isn't that super cute? Look at her. She's looking so cute. Oh my gosh. Super cute. Let me turn her to me just a little bit. Let me just double check. I think we'll put one more flower right here. Kind of coming a little bit lower. So when I cut this one, I'm going to get a couple of pieces, but I'll just keep them bundled together and hold it as a cluster. And we'll just put this in right here in front of her feet. We'll get a little bit of touches of that floral going in good. Yes, yes, she's looking so cute. All right, let's take our last floral bush. We're gonna need this to fill in the back and kind of clean up what we got going on back here. We just need a little bit back there and a little bit more to the front. So take this one and break it down. Don't forget to save this good wire. This one has a good wire that we can reuse like we used to put the bows on. So definitely do that. We're gonna clean off that nasty part of the paper because we don't want that just building up and you know, getting in our glue. All right, so let me pick what I think is my shortest piece, and I'm going to use that kind of in the front, and I want it to kind of cascade out over the other sections that we already had. Now I accidentally just pulled that leaf out, and that's fine. I'm going to thin it out a little bit. I'm going to pull both of those leaves out because we'll use those in a second, but I want to just get to the pretty filler part here so that I can layer that on top of these other leaves we already got in here. So basically you guys can take a part of pick anytime and use part of it in one section of the design and part in another. Okay, let's do that again. I'm going to keep the leaves off, pull the green pretty rose leaf off, just pull it straight. It should pull out. Easier said than done sometimes, right? Might have to tear it. Has a good wire. You can cut it too also if you want, just cut it right here. I just want to try to get some of that good wire because it'll be easier to reuse. Where I'm going to put it in here. All right, turn in front of me again. Oh, you're looking so cute. Let me flip your bow just a little. I'll bring my bow down just a hair. All right, I want to use another piece of the twig kind of coming over her little feet over here. I gotta move this out. That was kind of tucked under her dress. Now there's not a lot of places to go, but I'm gonna go right between her feet here into the foam. And then that can kind of come out. Okay, see how cute she's looking now? She's looking good. Now I saved all these leaves. These can go in the back here. Remember, I don't need to use anything fancy in the back. These are the same color palette. So I'm gonna tuck these right back here by me. And what we're doing is we're using these as a filler right now. So they're just filling in. Okay, so there goes one. All right, here goes two. Right in here. Okay, I'm gonna turn her around again so I get the last two in. She's spinning. She's spinning with us. You want to hear that crunch into the foam so you know it's going in nicely. Here comes one more. I got a little glue string going on. So we separated the leaves because you know what? We wanted to see a little more, I want to be able to see these fun fillers and not, you know, layer up the leaves at that point. She is cute, guys. Okay, one more pick. I do have more twigs. Now, I've been using this bunch of twigs on a couple of different projects. So we could even make a cute little twig bunch for the back here. Let's do that. Here's that longer piece we had where we said we're going to put some twigs kind of shooting up. So let's do that. Let me see how tall this one could be. So you need a little strength to hold it up. So you have to kind of trim it to where they're not too floppy. Because this bush is really made just to stand up and not it's made to hang down, not stand up. But you can trim it off and still get like a few cute little spiky bushes. So let's put those in here. I'm going to do that right now. Because I love adding twigs, whether they're artificial or real twigs. They're some of my favorite things to add to your piece, especially fall and Christmas, because it's just that natural vibe. I love that. Come in here, baby. This one, I'm just putting one on either side of that cluster we have made at the beginning. Isn't she cute? Look how cute she's getting. Y'all, I can't wait to see yours like this. Okay, now I've got some floppy twigs here still. Let me pull that off. If you see that, that's like a support piece when they're molding these florals. So if you ever see like a piece of plastic that doesn't belong, you can just pull that off. All right, I need one more piece that stands up. Let's see how much height he can take. Let's try here. Cut those off. So I'm just cutting it off to where I get a nice strong piece. There we go. So these can be my floppy ones that go in that hang over the edge. And I'm gonna put this one, let's see. We'll put one more right beside her, right here. That'd be a perfect little spot to add a little more twig by her body. Because this one we can kind of make her hand, put it up by her hand right here. We put one a little lower, but this one's a little taller. Okay, look how cute. It's up here by her hand. Doesn't that look great? Okay, we're gonna make a little twig cluster now with a couple of these pieces. So I'm gonna take and cluster a couple, and we're gonna have these kind of come out of the back. So let me push these into the foam right here. I'm gonna put this in the back right by her shoes. Okay. So we got some twigs rocking right in the middle here. And then let's put a little each of these on either side. Okay, I'm gonna just glue this one in over here. This one I gotta get in that section right between her feet, which we can do, and it can come out on that side. And then let's have this one over on the right. I think we're kind of in the home stretch, and she turned out so cute. I've got one pick left that we probably will take and divide up, and maybe put like a little bit of berry here in the back, because she looks pretty good as far as her berries. Oh, let's put a little in between the bow. I changed our mind. Let's kind of what we call break the plane of the bow. So we break it up a little bit with some floral or greenery. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna pull out the leaf again. So this we can use in the back, but I want to use these fun little pieces to break the plane of the bow. So what I'm gonna do is cut this into a couple of sections so I can easily work with it. A tall one and a short one. All right, and this kind of came apart a little when I was working with it. If you want to make your own little cluster, just take one of the strong wires, just go around, okay? And now you've made your own little cluster without having to get any more equipment or anything. We just worked with what we had. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna layer this between the bows. So this is gonna go in here. I'm getting into the foam, and then we're gonna pull that through. See how we can pull it out right there, and it's kind of coming out of the bow. So it gives the impression that the flowers just grew all in around the whole arrangement. Let me look at it one more time. Let's do one over here on the other side. Give that a swirl. And I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna turn her back to you just a second. This one, I don't wanna burn myself. I gotta see what I'm doing. And then pull that up through the tails of the ribbon. So that's coming up through the loops and the tail, and you can see how cute she is. Blue Merinos, get ready. We're gonna make the cutest bow. Look at the combo here. Yep. Candy corn, like it or not, it's so cute to make in our Halloween bows, and we're gonna make the cutest. So we're gonna start off here by making what we call is a funky bow, and all that means is that it has some tails that are going up and some tails that are going down, and it gives a very whimsical look. So it's best to use in informal, festive pieces. So in this case, we're doing something with candy corn and Halloween, so perfect application for that type of bow. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay out my ribbons and kind of get a system. This is the way I teach in design school, so you're kind of getting a sneak peek here. We start with a base ribbon, and then we break it up with something transitional, and then we can bring the pattern from the back to the front, or vice versa, to kind of create that depth. And so they're not all foreign patterns to each other, but they pull out a little of each. You can see in here we have yellow, we have white, and we have, of course, orange. And that's all in our candy corn shape. So it was perfect for me to pop this one in the middle, where I'm just popping the black from the background and the orange. And then I'll bring this little candy corn back to the foreground when we layer up our pattern. That's kind of the basics on laying out a bow. And yeah, if you don't already like and subscribe and follow, please do that now. Go ahead, click it, I'm waiting, click it, click it, click it. Because you're going to want to do that because you don't want to miss any more from us. And when you're ready to take our relationship to a second base, I would love for you to come and get on our text list. Yes, you got to text us, 832-734-5201. Or go right over to textkele.com, head to that website, and you can sign up there. And guess what? If you send us VIP, you will be sent back a little sweet treat. You're going to love it. Now you can see I already cut the first cut at an angle. And I'm going to make my first tail going up. So I put it in at 8 inches and then I twist it. Yep. And then I'm going to just flatten that out right there. And that'll be our first part of this bow. And that's kind of the whimsy. We're starting with a tail. Now I'm going to go on the left side and we're going to make our first loop. You can see how I kind of brought my hand under. Y'all, I've made thousands and thousands and thousands of bows, sold thousands of wreaths, and so I'm really good at making bows quickly and efficiently. But one of the keys is you got to keep this really loopy, okay? Really loopy. I'm going to come on to the right, and we're going to do another one at 7, and I'm going to twist. Okay, and when I twist, that means I'm coming back with another loop, all right? If I'm terminating the bows or the loops, then I scrunch. But here I'm twisting. We're going to do 2 on each side. Everybody's staying out at 7. And then I'm going to scrunch down. And I'm going to come out to 8 inch on these tails. And go ahead and cut that at an angle. Look how pretty. I love it. Okay, there's our starting point right there. Now I'm ready to bring my next ribbon in. But depending how you want it to... the background to be, I sometimes like to go ahead and add another tail. So in here, I will go ahead and add tail number 2 right on the opposite side. So this is how this tail went this way, and we're going to just cut it the same length. Should be right at 16. I'll bring it in, and we will put it right through the middle here. Okay, and just scrunch that, and we're going to go opposite. So you can see these are opposite cuts to each other. That's perfect. We're going to do the same thing here. Opposite cuts. And so when they come together, they make a cute little chevron like that. That's just a way of putting your background ribbons. Okay, now you can see I created a really strong base with a lot of that pattern. If you don't want all that pattern, no worries. All you need to do is just use one, like we started off with. Now I'm going to come in with my stripe. I love this stripe because it's got that good texture. I am always a real sucker for anything that feels like organic or natural feeling. I love that type of texture, and this one's got a good one like that. So I'm going to come out to the right, and we're going to layer my tail on just a little bit shorter. I like for it to layer up a little shorter. And let's come in with 2 again. I'm going to make them a little shorter. Instead of at 7, we're going to go 6. So a whole inch shorter. Here comes our first one. And I'm just going to stack these right on top of our previous loops. Stack them right on top, okay? And I'm still keeping them nice and loopy. I love to keep it loopy. No comments about me because it probably matches. Yep, keep it loopy. All the way out to 7, scrunch. Now, that means I'm not twisting, okay? Basically, I'm just gathering it together, not twisting. Cutting it at an angle a little bit shorter so that those layer up layered like that. That looks good. Okay, now I am going to add in a second tail as well so I can have it be pretty symmetrical on either side. Now let's come in here, and these 2 are going to point. That's fine as long as they're opposite. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to scrunch, and these 2 I will cut them to where they're opposite right there. Okay, good deal. Now we've got the orange and the black popping, and we're going to come back. I am going to be using the little bitty candy corn ribbon in the center, but it's not a wire ribbon, and it is got like all this great movement. We're going to put some little knots in it and stuff, but so we're going to layer it on top of another ribbon. So a really easy way to do that is literally we can stack these up. So if I wanted to layer these, just put them on the spool holder in the order we want to use them, and I can just stack them right up to do my last loop, okay? So we're going to start by pulling them with the same length, and then I'm going to cut these to match at the right-handed angle here. And then I'm going to add in my little top layer. Now when you pull a stack like this, sometimes they don't pull, equally because they're There's a lot of math behind that because they're different size spools and just how that works. So just know to go slow, all right? And you see I just stacked them up and layered them, and that's super cute. Now, tail needs to be a little shorter than we've been going, so that's probably about 5. Now, gather it yourself, put it in the middle, and then twist it, okay? Cute little layered up look. Now we're going to pull our spool. They're going to get all whacked, don't worry. We'll get it straightened out later. And now I'm going to make my first little centerpiece right here. 5 inches. 5 inches, right, going down the center. Now stack them up pretty good before you twist because you need them in the center. There you go. You did great. That's cute. And then 5 inches on this other side. It's the beauty of being able to do different things with your ribbons and kind of create that cohesive look. Look how those are all layered up. Now, if you want these, or like, Keleas, I don't want them to slide around, you want them to stay like that, you could just tack a little bit of glue under each one once you're done with the bow, and you are set and it will not move on you. Okay, I'm going to trim this way all at once, and we are done. We are done with our bow. How cute is that? So they were all different layers, but we came into the center to finish it off. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to get ready and take this off the bow maker and get our center nice and tight. So take a cable tie, and I prefer at least an 8-inch. This is an 11-inch we're using here. Add a little pressure as it starts to pop up. You notice I kept my finger on top. Now I'm going to bring this off and rotate this to the back. Okay, add some pressure while you're fluffing. Make sure you keep these all together. Okay, right in the middle, and manage your tails. Yep, I want these to lay on top of each other. How cute is that? Okay, tails up and tails down. Spread them out. Isn't that adorable? Looks really good. I love using that as the top layer. Once it's all together and ready to go, I'm going to rotate it behind, and we are going to add a cable tie to the back, and then just pull it tight. Okay. Now, let's take and run cable tie. We already have the cable tie in, so what we're going to do now is we're going to run a ribbon right through the middle, and I think the cutest one will be this one with the candy corn. So let's grab it, and we're going to run it through, and I'm going to put a little bit of knots on it too, because I think that's so cute. So I cut kind of a long strip here, and I'm going to take and cut it and do a couple of strips. So you've got like a doubled up piece. Come right through the middle. It's the perfect size for a middle ribbon. It looks so good in there. And then I'm going to take and do one knot, and I'm going to try to make sure my ribbons kind of finish with their cute little designs forward, if possible. When I pull them tight here, just like that. And that way these can just add to the funkiness of the tails, and you can just take and trim them just a little bit to finish off their little edges. This is stinking cute. And literally you've made the cutest little bow right in the center of the bow. I think it turned out great. In this particular kit, you're going to get 2 large elements, and one is a cute Scarecrow head, which I love that guy, and then this fun bright yellow pumpkin. The reason we're using these colors is we want to really pop out from our orange swag base that also comes in the kit, and I want to make sure these big elements get in first. It's very easy to attach them because they have foam bases. And that's one of the reasons I'm always teaching in design school. If you can use pieces that are foam, they're quick and easy to attach. And it just kind of takes that fear out of the placement for us. So I'm going to start off here with my Scarecrow first. He comes with a little hanger, but we're not going to use that. So I'll just take that little guy out. It's just a little jute hanger, and we don't need it. So I'm going to cut that one out. So we'll have, it looking cute. And I like the Scarecrow high. I think it's so cute because we're going to have some fun on the head. But not too high because I want to be able to put in some curly picks coming out of the top. And then pick a direction you want him to go. And then we're going to work alternate. So we're going to alternate directions. And that's something I'm really big about when we're building up our pieces is like having a nice flow, creating a line in a direction. That way your work just looks a little bit more elevated and a little higher level. So I think I'm going to go out to the right with him. Just hold him with your hand. And if you don't have a restand yet, we have these that fold in our shop where you can purchase your own restand. But if you don't have one, just lay it flat on the table and kind of start to lay out your design before you even glue. I know I want my pumpkin to kind of tuck under somewhere here, and I'm going to put a bow in the middle of both of these. So I'm going to work these opposite first. So let's go ahead and get Mr. Scarecrow in first. He's so cute. Now he's got a bright orange hat, but don't worry, we're going to take that hat to the next level. It's so fun to embellish things and make them your own, and that way if somebody else gets the kit too, when you embellish it a little bit differently, it's going to look like a completely different piece. Now I'm going to put these in here like this. So I'm going to take a couple of the pine tines, or the pieces of pine basically, and this is a U pin. Here it is right here, okay? And it's a wire that is shaped like a U basically. I'm going to take that and put it through two pieces right here, and then I'm able to pin that right into the back of the Scarecrow because he's foam, all right? So let me get it, but you have to use glue. If you don't use glue, it's just temporary and it's going to fail. So we're going to use a good amount of glue on there. And I'm going to do this a couple of times. Like one pin is not enough. You will think it's enough, but it's not, because I always want to make sure everything passes that craft show test. I teach that in design school so much. It's like, can your pieces withstand being handled a lot and hold up really well? All right, I'm going to put another one in. Same process. I've got my little basket under here. I love finding unique containers at thrift stores, garage sales, antique markets, literally to organize my workspace, but they're cool, right? They've got texture. I'll show you. It's the cutest little basket. I don't know what came in it a long time ago, maybe crackers or something. It's a cute little shape, but that's my pin box. I got my little glue in there right now. Simple little pleasures make me so happy. All right, so I've got a couple of pins in there, and he feels really good. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, when you get a swag, it never looks pretty and flat like this. I took some time before to shake hands with it. In design school, we use that term to meaning that we are going to straighten out the wires, and we're going to create a flat base. I forgot to tell you that. Sorry, but that is what we do first. Otherwise, they come and they're always going to be like, you know, crazy. You just flatten it out, take some time and be patient. Now, if you are just getting back into working with the pine bases like this one, whether it's colored or it's for Christmas, you might want to wear gloves. Sometimes they kind of eat up your hands if you're not used to it. And of course, as it gets colder in the season, you definitely got to watch your hands because you can tear them up really easy. All right, Scarecrow's in. Now we said we're going to put our next large element in this kit, and that is the pumpkin, and it's our yellow pumpkin, which is great because we're going to use all these colors in this candy corn motif that we've got going. So I want to use it kind of opposite the head, but I want to give it some motion, like up and down. I want to have it moving around. So I'm going to take and put it right here. We're going to use that same technique. So I'm going to take two pieces of the pine, and we're going to grab another floral pin out of my cute little basket. I should take y'all on my shopping adventure sometime to the fun stores that I like to pop into and get all their cool little vintage items. Okay, I'm going to press this in. So there's one pin in, all right. Now, that's a pretty good angle. She's kind of over to the side. I can manipulate her. I always want a second pin in too. So think about, okay, where else do I need to pin it to get this holding in there? So I'm going to kind of come from the side because I want her to be over this way. I'm going to grab two pieces and push them in. Now, once they're in, I want you to come back after that glue dries and go ahead and twist those pieces of pine backward. So basically, if I put the pin over this piece right here, right, and it's like this, a U, now if I make sure and twist this back, it can't pull out, okay? So that's all we're going to do for a second. So I'm going to take and do that once my glue is dried. It's just kind of tantamount to twisting the twist tie on the bread bag. We don't want to do it, but you know, you got to do the twist and tuck. So we got a little space and we got our first two components in. So you got it? It's already looking cute. We haven't even done anything. Wait till we really get to where we start adding our pieces in. Okay, next step is grab your really long curly pieces. And these are just like this. They have the yellow and the orange on them. And we're going to use this to kind of create some whimsy, all working around our design. Now, we're going to leave this area open because we call that the bow zone. That's where we're going to put a bow in. And I leave that empty till we get the bow there. So on these, I think these break down really easy into 2 pieces each. So I'm going to get my wire cutters out. And we're going to just take one and cut it right here at the top. And then I'm going to take this one and cut this one a little bit longer into the second section of the stem. So when I do that, you can see I get a section that has a 3 and a section that has 2. I'm going to do that for both of these stems and just cut them right up. Don't cut too close to the stems on these type of stems because you see where it's a little fatter there? That's because the fabric from the curls goes down in that area. So you'll get a lot more ease of use if you don't cut right there. All right, now I want to space these out and once again shake hands, and I can squish them down or I can elongate them. I can do either one. I've got both options in my design. And remember I said I wanted to have some excitement coming out the top? That's what we're going to do first. And we're going to do that just opposite her sweet little scarecrow head. And I'm going to load this with glue. And then we're going to kind of come into the body of the swag back here. I'm not out on the edge. I'm into the body. I'm tucking that right behind the head. See how cute that is? And now I'm also going to take a little of the pine to hold it in. So we've got glue and we've got the pine. We always use a 2-step approach for attaching, just for security. I'm really big on mechanics. Of course, I want you to learn design, but I want you to have really good, solid mechanics. Because then your work will last a lot longer, and your customers, if you're a seller, they will be so happy with what they purchased, they won't want to get their wreaths from anywhere else. So in design school, I'm always making sure that everybody's learning how to properly put things together. Now, I'm going to move her up on the wreath stand, so you can see the bottom we're going to work on here. And this curly part that has the 3 from the other stem, we're going to easily put this kind of under the pumpkin and a little bit off to the side right in here, where the curls come into here, but then they also go down. Remember, I can pull them out or I can squish them short. I can do whatever I need to kind of make them work both ways. So let's put this one in there. I've got my glue skillet right behind my work stand, so it's really easy to get to. Now I come in here and I'm going to twist these in. Isn't that awesome? And we're going to just tuck them and rock and roll. Okay, so my curls are coming down right out of my pumpkin. Now, it's time to put the bow in. Now, we will have a link here to the bow video. It's a separate video you can go watch. And if you don't see it here, you can ask for it in the comments. Or you can also head over to the supply list for this kit, and it'll have a link to all the videos that go with it. So anytime you buy a kit from us, you'll get a sheet in the kit that actually takes you back to the video, but you can also find those sheets just out on our website and the supply list anytime. It has all the links, everything you need. We try to make it super easy. And then when you're ready, you come join us in design school, and we have a whole portal where there's no hunting to find things anymore. It's right at your fingertips, and you have all that exclusive content just for you, step-by-step recorded. So here is our bow. And we went with all the fun colors on this one. And we went with the orange, little cute candy corn on the front. It turned out super duper cute. So this bow, it has a cable tie in the back where we're going to be able to attach it to our wreath base. We're going to go right into that bow zone we talked about, right into this area where we left the space. And I'm going to try to tuck the bow in a little bit off to the right. And kind of pop her in between. This is going to soften the bright yellow of the pumpkin, but still let it poke out from behind. I love that. So we're going to come in, and I'm going to attach this to, I'm going to go with 3 pieces of pine, and you're going to use the same technique we just did, where you're not going to the base, but you're going to the pieces of pine. And then we're going to twist them backward, just like I talked about the bread twist tie. You're doing that so if someone were to pick it up by the bow, it can't just slide off. We got to make sure that these things are going to hold up. Now it looks whack right now. It's facing forward. Don't worry, we're going to pull it back. So I'm going to tie that in. And now you're going to go ahead and tuck those loops right under her chin. Oh, how cute is that? And we're going to have this all really poof out. Okay? And we're going to add a couple more curls kind of coming out of the bow now that she's in. So take these sweet little curls and tuck them right behind the bow. So once you have that in the spot it's going to be, you've like nailed the bow zone. I'm going to tuck this inside here. And we're going to get some pine. We're going to make sure the pine hits the glue. And then we're also wiring it in too. Now, if you're making this for yourself, you're more than welcome not to glue it if you want to. It just is not going to, it's going to take a beating on your front door and stuff will fall out. So just know, hey, when I'm ready and I've got my design ready, I've really got to glue it in. Because I want it to last, you know, a good while at least. See, when I get that glue on there, I get a lot of it. A whole bunch. Okay, and I'm going to come from the other side. And we're going to tuck this one in. I'm going to kind of go under her head. Now, we talk about direction and changes in direction all the time in design school and how important they are. So when I'm right here at the center of the bow, it's totally fine to just have those pieces just come right out. Look how cute that is. Before we put the cupcakes in, I know you've been waiting for the cupcakes. We want to go ahead and get some ribbon tails in. So you're going to grab your ribbons that were in the bow. And I am going to use these two right here and layer them up to put them in. It's very simple just to layer a skinnier ribbon on a more narrow. Now, I'm getting ready to have to pull these ribbons while I'm working with them. And I use, it can sit on the bow maker, or you can also just take a dowel and stick it right between your little rolls of ribbon if you need to pull it on the counter. So you see here, put it in, and now I can easily pull and hold that. So you don't have to have anything fancy to be able to pull these tails out nice. Okay, my first tail is just going to hang straight down here at the bottom. Let me bring her back up so you can see. When I'm doing a swag and I'm filming, it's a little tricky because we got a lot of directions. Now, I think it's cute to have like a double set of tails, just like this, and kind of cut them at opposite angles. I like to make one a little longer and one a little shorter. So we're going to do that right now. Come on here, cut up, buddy. Okay, you don't have to do anything too fancy, but make this, right? And then I'm going to take and just wire it in. Okay, so take the piece of wire, twist around, tuck it up and under. And that big one's going to go there. And the small one will just go on top. Okay, so there's our cute little tail. And we've got more picks to put in here at the bottom, so don't worry. Now I'm going to come back to the top. That's so cute. And we want another tail kind of shooting out this way. Now, if you want tails to stand up, you can't cut them so long. They'll be floppy. So we're going to cut them a little bit shorter when we go up to the top part, right? So I'm going to do the same thing. Hold my little pull holder here. And we're going to go, maybe that's about 8 inches, 7 inches. I'm going to gather it. And then my next one I can make just a little bit longer so they stack up pretty. You can see here, I'm going to come in and make it about 9. So not too big, okay? So this is what it'll look like. Now, I want this to stand up a little better than that last one, so I'm not going to use the same technique. I'm actually going to gather it like this. See, it's flopping a little. We'll put a little weight behind it. We'll put some of the pine behind it. Now, I want you to grab a cable tie and go ahead and put this on one of our pieces of stem. Where's our black stem? So here's our black stem off of one of the pieces we already cut. I want you just to put that around there. And we just made our own little cluster, okay? I like the cable tied on. It'll keep this cluster tight and will help it sit up a little bit better. All right, don't worry about it flopping. We're going to put it in the wreath itself. You can also, like if one ribbon's a little stronger than the other, we can always take and tack a little glue on there and make it a little bit more sturdy. So I'll do that right now, right? Okay. So I'm just going to run just a light bit of glue on here with my simple technique and just run that right down the middle. Okay, and I make it a little bit stronger to sit up. And this is going to come out working right behind these curls. So we're going to go behind them and have that little bit of ribbon just popping out of the top. Super cute. Let's put it in there. I got to glue it in using the same technique. But it's kind of neat when you layer ribbon like that. You can kind of create your own pattern, basically, which is a lot of fun. So as I put it in, I'm also going to twist around because I want to keep it stable. Let's just tuck it in and make sure you got some pine kind of coming behind it, in it, so that can pop right out. It's so cute! All right, I promised you cupcakes. Here come the cupcakes. So I know I want to use some cupcakes kind of coming out the top, and definitely having a lot of fun with that. So I'm going to take a couple here, and we're going to separate these where they each have a good sized stem. And you want to hold on to any extra stem because we can use that for another little project. Okay, so I want to get them standing up pretty good, and let's put one right here above the hat. I think that would be really cute. Like she's got some cupcakes in her hat because she's that cool. Of course she is. That looks good right there. Oh, cute! And let's use one right here in the side. I have a couple right here together. Isn't that just making it so cute and whimsical? I love this. If you've got grandkids, you have got to snag this kit because they can help you make it. And you just need to supervise the glue gun, of course. But man, this would be super cute. They could name the Scarecrow, give her a name, and then help you add all the fun embellishments on here. That's literally half the fun. All right, since we put these cupcakes over here, we're going to put some more cupcakes in. We want these to come opposite and work opposite, and that'll bring that color combo over. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll take and cut these down into two sections. And the first one I kind of want to keep a little tight to the bow. Come out. Look how cute that's going to be. Right in here. Oh my gosh. You guys, if you're not on our text list, you might want to get a spot because you know why? I let you know when new videos are coming out, just like this one. So if you don't get a text for a video, sometimes that's because it's a replay. It's not brand new. When something is brand new, brand spanking new, we always shoot out a text so our VIP customers can know, hey, you don't want to miss this. Our text number is 832-734-5201. Or you can also take and go to textkeleas.com and sign up there. You've got a couple of different options. Now, once you get on the text list, send us VIP, like very important person, because then we know you are set up to get our first 10% off your first order. We'll send you a coupon, and then you're not going to miss another text when we have something new, like this cutie right here. Okay, let me show you what we got so far. We got some cupcakes. We got the top. Oh, so stinking cute. Of course, you can make yours the way you want. Feel free to add more and more and go to town. Let's put in a couple more cupcakes here at the bottom. Or at least one more. We might save one more for the top. Let's put in one more kind of coming out the middle of this tail. I think that would be so cute. Get in the middle. I'm going to twist that around. And these are all on great wires, so I can always take and have them come back up. You know, if them being upside down is bugging you, it's no big deal. We can twist them up and manipulate them however we need for the design we want. I kind of like that one coming out down. All right, let's bring it back down. I'm going to add one more cupcake to the top. Isn't she precious? And this one we're going to kind of put over here on the right side. I think kind of coming right beside her cheek would be precious. So watch your ribbon. Let's get her loaded with glue. And I'm going to come in on the right. Excuse me, I'm going to give you a little cupcake right at your cheek here, baby. She's so stinking cute. Okay, our last little pieces that come in the kit So I want to add a couple of these to her hat to kind of embellish her hat a little bit and get it looking adorable. So we're going to take and cut these down a little shorter. I just like to take a couple of stems off. And we're going to make a sweet little like piece for the top of her hat. Now in this kit you get full rolls of ribbon. So you'll have plenty of ribbon to add more embellishments, add more ribbon tails. Whatever you want, you can pop in more. I'm going to put these kind of coming out of her hat, but like she stuck a feather in her hat, kind of like that. Oh, that's cute. Let's put a little the other way. And then I'm going to tie her just a little bitty bow to go up and under here. Yeah. Oh. Just going to make sure that stays right there. Get her a little... You can also curl these if you want them a little shorter. Always think that's cute. It's kind of like little pip berries. Have some fun with them. I'm holding it while I'm kind of moving it around. Isn't that precious? Now, we got to cover up our little bit of mechanics there. So I'm going to take our sweet little cute candy corn ribbon and just make a regular old bow, but I'm going to kind of double up on it. So I'm going to have 2 pieces. So it'll be a kind of a nice little loopy one. So 2 pieces of the ribbon. And let's just do a regular old bow. Loop, 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 and a crisscross applesauce, okay? 2 loops and crisscross. Let's see if we can make it cute on the first go. We're gonna try. All right, let me pull the tails out a little bit better. Just like you're tying your shoes, basically. But we're doing it with 2 layers of ribbon. So I want to get it looking cute. I didn't really pay attention, but this little ribbon has a rickrack edge. That is so cute. No wonder I liked it. All right, now I'm just going to pull these down until I get the loop size I want and twist those little tails. Okay. Oh, it's going to be so cute right there. And we're going to trim these a little shorter. You could even dovetail them if you wanted. I'm going to go short and long. So I cut that first one a little short, then a little long. And now we're going to glue that in her little hair right there. The embellishment part of the project is always the funnest. It's like these little details. Sometimes when you're a creative that sells, you have to be careful because you end up really getting sucked into this little world of embellishing. It's so fun. But you know what? It's worth it. Those little details make it super cute. Now, I've got 2 of these stems left, and I would like to put some of these in the bow and a little bit scattered throughout. So I'm going to just literally take and cut these into individual stems. And that way we can make them go all over our design. But we want to just use these to add little bits of detail throughout the design. So I'm going to cut that longer so this stem could be a little bit longer. Trim this so we get all these, some with a little bit of longer stem if possible. There you go, and it's all broken up into individual pieces. So let's first start with the bow. I like to put about 3 into there. Now when we go into the bow, sometimes we glue into the loops of the bow, but other times we literally just go in between them, like here to layer behind. Okay, and I'm gonna glue actually to the base of the bottom ribbons, and just make sure you kind of grab and sandwich it in between the ribbons so it'll stay. So that's so cute coming out of there. And poof up these layers. And you gotta watch this bow video too, because we layered up the last layer on the top of this bow, which is really, really cute. Something you can play with. And if you're a design school student, we have some layered bow videos in the portal that you will love, love, love. If you haven't used that technique in a while, that's a fun one to play with. Okay, here comes my 3rd piece in. And once they get set up, you can fluff them a little bit more, just like the layers of the actual bow. once the glue's set, I can wiggle it a little bit more, but just give it a second. All right, let's put one more. I'm putting 4 in the bow. I thought 3 would be enough. No. Now, when you start to put different elements in your design, sometimes it's, you feel like I'm just going to put a little everywhere. And that's fine. But in this case, we're using candy corns kind of in the center zone, these small ones. So it's more beneficial if we just kind of keep the eye going in that area. So what I want you to do is you can branch out a little, but I want you to stay in the center when you start putting these in. So, and create a line with them. So I'm doing that right here. Like this is kind of continuing from her little hat, squeezing it in. And then I'm going to put one more above. And then we'll work a few more below the bow to continue that line on. Okay, here I'm gluing to the back of the hat, but I'm going to find some pine to kind of sandwich it. So even though I'm not using the wire to hold these, I am sandwiching them between 2 things so the glue can hold. All right, we have 4 more pieces. Now we're going to work right down this center and put them in right here. So we'll come right below the bow, right in here. I'm going to get in there on that pine. There's our first piece. Get up higher. Come on down. I want to put one right here. These are just such cute little accents. Now, if you like anything in the kit, we always have all the pieces labeled there. So that way, if there is something else you want more of, and we have it in stock, you can add that. Let's say you like, oh, Keleas, I love those little candy corns. I know I'm going to have ribbon left from the kit. Let me go ahead and buy some more of that. We'll have links to all that on the supply list as well. So you can go to town, really. You can add more of that collection when you grab the kit. And you'll know you have more things that work with the ribbons and the whole design because you've already seen me work with it. It's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. You know it's going to work. Hey, we did it. She is a cutie. She's a cutie. She's going to pop right off your front door with all her yellow and orange and black. She is going to be stunning. I can't wait for you to try this type of swag and play with the cute little detail ribbons on your pieces, add little accents and little additions. I think you're going to have so much fun with it. So we're going to make the cutest bow with this, and I'm going to show you how to do it with just our hand. Easy peasy. Step 1, 2, 3. Basically, you're going to need your ribbon, which we're using a wired ribbon. It's 2.5 wide. We're going to need some scissors. And I'm going to use cable ties instead of wire to make it nice and tight. So a couple of cable ties and then some wire cutters in order to cut those cable ties really super easy. The first thing I'm going to do is establish my tail length. And I usually like it to be about 8 inches on this type of bow. So once you've got a good length, just take and kind of crimp it in your hand, just like a little scrunch in your hand. And then do a nice twist. Then I want my loop to be at about 7 inches long, okay? So it's 7 inches right here on the loop size. Then once I'm happy with that, I scrunch it and I twist it again. All right, so I'm gonna go between my hands for a moment and just start making a loop on either side and a tail on either side, okay? And scrunch. All right, and I want this tail to go opposite the other tail, okay? So I've got a tail going up and a tail going down and a loop on either side. And if you need to adjust anything, you can do it right now. Once you're happy with that, I'm going to take and cut this side. So both sides have 8-inch tails, one going up, one going down. Alrighty? Easy peasy. Now we're going to do the same thing again. We're just going to layer the next one just like that on top. And this time I want this tail to go this way. So we'll just lay it out there and I'll scrunch it up. And now I'm going to hold it in the center and I'm going to twist. A nice twist. This is wired ribbon, so it's going to really be easy to hold its shape for you. I'll make another loop, same size. Actually, you could make it a little shorter, but I'm going to make it the same size. All right, twist, and then make one on the other side the same size. And scrunch it up, and you got that tail going the opposite way than this tail went, okay? So shift those around just a little bit and bring that tail down. So you can see here we've got 2 tails opposite each other on either side, and then we've got 2 loops. Now take and cut those. And we're ready to scrunch it in the middle with our wires or cable ties. And we're gonna use cable ties. So just bring this around the center and let's get some pressure on that one. Now get it taut, but not completely tight. And then that's gonna hold it for you. And you can do your magical fluffing now. So I'm gonna rotate this just kind of backwards. We're gonna fluff it up. So this way you've got two tails on either side, and it kind of makes this really stinking cute, like flower shape. And anytime you use this type of horizontal line ribbon, it really brings your eye into the middle, which is just gorgeous. That's the kind of tips and tricks I'd love for you to learn as you become a better floral designer and creative, that those type of lines make your pieces look amazing. Now in here, I just popped in a cable tie in the back, and that's how I'm going to attach it to my finished project. Cut that off. And that was the piece that was extra on the back. And we are ready to now fix our tails, and then we'll do our center. So it's up to you how you want to do your tails. We like to sometimes dovetail, sometimes angle cut, and you can choose. If I'm going to angle cut, what I'm going to do is just cut these at an angle, just like that, at an angle, and I usually do opposite angles to each other. So you can see how cute that is, and you could go around and do that on every tail. Another option is to fold it in half and dovetail it, which you get this cute little V, which is nice and finished looking, and you could do that as well. So I'm going to do that on each side. And you can pick the style you like. Just fold it in half and cut towards the fold to the open parts of the ribbon. Rotate that around and do that on every one of these tails. So I'm going to take and cut from the fold out here to the tips. Same thing over here. All right, our bow is pretty much ready. The only last little finishing touch I like to do is add a little touch of ribbon in the middle. We have a brown cable tie, so you really don't even see it, but if you want to add a finishing touch, just split your ribbon down the center. And because we only need a portion of the whole width, so you can save that for another bow, the other side. And I'm just going to take and fold it. And I like to use sometimes, like if we put that down there, we'll get a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange, super cute in the middle, and we'll get a really finished look going down the center of our bow. All right, you guys, if you want to learn how to make bows like this and extremely elegant pieces and floral design with us, we'd love to have you in design school. Just go over to wreathteacher.com. You can join our class. And not only do I teach bows, but I teach floral placement, wreaths, garlands, swags, all the things you need to do to be able to make beautiful pieces, just like you see us sharing with you every week, even taking it to the next level. Oh my goodness, Blue Arenas, we're going to work on one of our cute Scarecrow wreath bases. These are so fun, so easy to work on and create the cutest projects really fast and easy. We're going to use a couple of these beautiful orange filler sprays, a little bit of fall greenery here, of course some fuzzy brown pumpkins, which just go great with the vibe, and we are living it up with this kind of retro stripe with all those gorgeous 70s kitchen colors, which works so good for the fall motif. So that's going to be our supplies we're going to use. I am going to use a little bit of floral foam also. We're going to use a small block of floral foam, and I have got my glue pot here ready to go. So what we're going to do to start off with is I've got another video where we tied a bow with this, so we'll have that linked here, but our cute bow is ready to go. And we're going to start off by preparing our base. Now when you work with something like this, you're going to want the head to be nice and straight, and her when we put elements on her, we can't have her hanging right or hanging left. We want her to hang straight off her little hanger that's built on there. So what I've done is I've got a small block of floral foam. I've carved out just a little section here so I can place it right over the grapevine and have this go right on the top of her hat. So once I know what I want going on, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that over here and just get it ready. And you can come from the back and support this a little bit more with some floral pins if you want to. You've got a nice frame here. I would do that to make sure it's a little bit more secure. So let me grab my floral pins. Turn my little bucket. And I'll just grab a couple out of here. These dudes kind of help it stabilize it from the wires in the back. All right, now these may be a little too long, which they're a little long, so I'm gonna have to trim them. Trim them before they go in, guys, so they're not quite so long. You just trim them and make them a little shorter, okay? Because now I'm gonna have to go back and trim on the other side. The first one I put in was a little bit long and poking through, but trim it first. It's a little more neat and clean, and you won't poke yourself with it. So a couple of pins in just to help secure it. Those went right through the glue, and we are ready to go. Now, next step is we're gonna go ahead and get our base looking super fine by using these cute, this is a filler berry that works great in here. We're gonna use it like almost like a greenery. So what I want you to do is just take and tear these off into smaller little sections, just like this, and we're gonna do that on both stems. I'll put this other greenery down here and move these pumpkins out of the way. But I'm gonna use a couple of stems that I wanna make it nice and full. Just tear those off and cut these down really neat and clean. And then you are gonna be ready to put these on and start shaping out our base. Save your good wires. We can definitely recycle them and use them to put into other pieces. Now we're gonna start shaping out our base. So we wanna shake hands with each piece and make sure you're utilizing any good wires you've got going in there. Give that a swirl in your glue pot. You're gonna start to shape out your beautiful design here. And you want to take this simple wreath base and accentuate the lines of it. I love doing that, really kick them out here. So we're gonna use them opposite each other. I love that. And then we'll go a little bit shorter on each side so we can kind of have a whole look started here. Pop that one in, isn't that cute? And one here on the top. I like making it nice and full like this. And then you can manipulate these up for a little bit of movement. And we're gonna do the same thing down here at the bottom. And on these, I'm gonna overlap on the top a little so I can start kind of camouflaging my moss. My foam base, I always say that wrong, sorry. I call moss and foam the same thing all the time. It's a watermelon pumpkin thing. If you know, you know. I'm sorry. I don't know what my problem is with those. But you can see how fun these would be to make for your Etsy shop. They're quick shop fillers, and they're great for craft shows also because they sell fast and they're really quick to produce, which means you can kind of keep the price down when you're selling them. Okay, let me push this one back in. So you can see we've got a little dimension. We're working opposite each other, really nice and full. I love that. I'm gonna hold a couple of these pieces off. We're gonna use those more in the foreground. Now it's time for our cool pumpkin spray. I like to just take this, and we don't have to manipulate it too much, but we do have to take and cut off the pumpkins because we want to utilize them and position them exactly where we want them. So we're going to cut all the pumpkins off our main stem and then start to place them in. And I'm going to put a couple of pumpkins kind of coming down. I'm going to put like two below, one here, and that's cute down here by his cheek, and one a little shorter and tighter, maybe right there. So you can trim that wire. Go in right here. You're looking cute, Mr. Scarecrow. Look how cute that is. And then we'll put one above. So you can see that whole time we're leaving a space in the middle. We call that the bow zone when we're designing. And the bow zone we leave empty because we're going to place a bow in there. Now some projects we may change that up a little, but in general, that's where the bow's going. So now you're going to tie your bow, and then we're going to be ready to place it in the center. You're going to need to take one of the floral pins that we use to secure the back of the scarecrow head, and we're going to put one right here in behind the bow, and then just swing this around underneath the cable tie so it pokes up. Now remember, these were a little too long, so we're going to cut them off just a little bit. Careful when you're cutting wires. Wear safety glasses or protection to make sure you don't get that in your eyes. I put some glue on there, and now we're placing this right in the middle. Look how cute this is. Oh my gosh, isn't he so stinking cute? I love when we put the bows in. Cute bow. What a cute color combo. All right, let's put that up a little bit higher. I don't want to cover up his eyes too much. All right, bows in. Look how sweet. Now, we're going to take the last bush of greenery. We're going to work that all in, kind of in around the center of the design. So I'm going to push this all out and make this shorter because I don't need these super long. This will work. It looks kind of like the hay. It's part of our Scarecrow or the raffia. It's got that great texture. Okay, so trim that down after you've pushed it up. And we're going to start working these right in here around our pumpkins. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of the little longer pieces and we'll put those on either side and really kind of soften the edges. Let's have one really long one go in the middle of those berry pieces we already put in. How cute is that? Oh, that layers up beautifully. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So you need 3 other pieces, like a long and a couple of short. Take that longest one, put it in the middle. It's gonna go right here in the middle. And as long as you're getting some glue on every piece going into the foam, it's gonna go in there nice and secure and hold really great. That's that dense floral foam that's hard. It's not sandy, so it really works well. Now, we wanna take these short pieces and put those in tight to the bow. So I'm going to make these even shorter, so gently push them up, and they're going to be like little pom-poms of fall floral. You're going to love this color. All right, and we're going to trim those short, so their stems are very short, just like that. And let's put those in close to the bow. And I want these to work in here to fill in. Ah, cute. And we call that breaking the plane of the design. We use this a lot in design school where we want to make the pieces in the wreath feel integrated with the florals. So we use a technique called breaking the plane, and that's a term I use, that we are always working things in our design. All right, we have our 2 little berry pieces. This is another design school tip. We're going to take something in the background, we're going to bring it to the foreground. Really important to have cohesiveness. So use these in little clusters. And we're going to bring these to the foreground of the design and place them in, just like that. Oh my gosh, beautiful. And how about these 2 to the top? So you can see, not only did we embellish this piece, but we did it on a super classy, high level, where she is adorable. She's next level. She is beautiful. We've got gorgeous pumpkins, gorgeous ribbons, where she's cute and whimsical, but she can mix in with your high quality floral designs that you've already created. In your Etsy shop or for your home. You can see how you could make this really fast, and I hope you enjoy the process. All right, Bloomerinos, I'll see you next time, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow wherever you're watching. We share projects like this every week so you can learn how to become a better designer. Bye, Bloomerinos!